As the appointed hour is 5 o'clock, I call the meeting to order of the Walla County Rural Library District Board of Trustees, February 11th, 2013. At this point, we will adjourn to an executive session for the purpose of discussing with district's legal counsel per RCW 42.30.110, potential litigation to which the agency, the governing body, or a member acting as in an official capacity is likely to become a party when public knowledge regarding this discussion is likely to result in an adverse legal or financial consequence to the agency. We will return at 5:30. Meeting back to order. We're going to do a roll call tonight, guys. So, Thomas Garcia,
Patsy Adams Warnock,
Andrea Berglund,
Alice McDonald,
Carol Peterson.
And Aletha Bonebrake and Josh Westbrook.
Yep.
Staff.
Okay, I need a motion for approval of the agenda, please.
I move to approve the agenda as written.
second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? This is now the time for public comment, up to 3 minutes per person, up to 30 minutes total. Please state your name and your address if you have comment to make, and would like to remind you that it is being recorded.
My name is Betty Hull.
You better come a little closer, Betty, if you would, please.
My name is Betty Hull. My address is 1271 Palm Barrel Lane. And as you know, some of you, I have vision problems and I cannot write, I cannot type, and I cannot read. So I have asked Jackie George to help me with a letter that I would like to present to you. And there are other people who are going to help read it because it will take more than 3 minutes. But I would like to give a copy to each one of you. I would like to request that you let the readers stand up ahead and introduce themselves before the reading of the letter, because then the continuity of the letter would be lost. Is that all right with you? Okay. Jackie is the first reader. Just introduce
Oh,
yourselves.
Jackie George, 1842 Parkview Place. I'm reading for Betty tonight.
And
My name is Shauna Mosgrove, 352 Eagle Crest, and I'll be reading for Betty tonight as well.
and
I'm Amanda Hammond. My address is 1620 Stewart Street. I'll also be reading.
this letter is coming from me. It is not from a group. These people have asked to read, help me read.
And
Oh, excuse me, and Linda.
Linda Howell, 1703 Circle Drive.
And so, thank you.
Okay, dear board members, the Walla Walla County Rural Library District, RLD, is to be commended for many of its efforts over the years, particularly in the last 12 to 14 months. Chief among these accomplishments are placing professional librarians in leadership positions, which had not previously been done, increasing the district's technology person's contract to provide for training and service, establishment of a standard schedule and location for board meetings, development of a stepped salary and benefits schedule for employees, and finally, the long-needed upgrades for facilities in Tougy, Prescott, and Burbank. Despite these accomplishments, the following concerns are to be addressed. First, the RLD board has made frequent and false claims that there are only a few citizens opposed to the RLD's plans to construct a county central library. The RLD board has received more than 200 signatures of county residents who are opposed to the building of a second library. They would prefer to continue using the Walla Walla Public Library and or favor consolidation of the Rural Library District and the Walla Walla Public Library. These are residents of the so-called donut. The donut residents represent 2/3 of the population of the entire county, and donut taxpayers contribute more than half of the operating budget for the RLD on a yearly basis. In the 2011 budget year, Fire Districts 4 and 8, which constitute the donut, contributed $561,634 of a $1,077,465 budget. Over the last 6 to 8 months, there has been considerable opposition to the RLD proposal to build a new library in Walla Walla's perimeter. Opposition and concern have appeared in letters to the editor, communications from county commissioners, and speakers at RLD board and other community meetings. Editorials have been written in the Walla Walla Union Bulletin calling for the RLD to rethink its construction plan for a new $3.6 million facility. Note, there has never been any opposition to RLD plans to use taxpayers' money to improve and expand existing county libraries in Touchy, Burbank, and Prescott.
The next concern to be addressed is this. There is no need for the $2.3 million loan to improve and expand the existing county libraries. The RLD Capital Reserve Fund of $3.6 million provides more than adequate funding for renovation and new construction of the libraries in Touchy, Prescott, and Burbank, leaving a reserve of over $1 million. The RLD needs a new administrative service center. The administrative service center could be incorporated into the plans of one of the many, or of the other community library buildings, perhaps the central community of Touchy, without the necessity of taking out a loan to construct a full-service library in the urban area of the city of Walla Walla, where a full-service library is already in operation to serve the public. Paying off the proposed $2.3 million loan would use at least 10% of the operating budget of the RLD for the life of the loan. According to the budget for 2013, this would be $124,080 per year for 40 years. And this means that taxpayers will pay nearly $5 million to pay back a $2.3 million loan.
The third concern is the subject of annexation. The city of Walla Walla has not made a formal request for annexation of the Walla Walla Public Library to the RLD because the RLD rejected annexation before the city council could consider it. Following the August 8, 2012 letter from the Rural Library District Board to Mayor Barrow, which stated the RLD will not support any annexation proposal at this time, Walla Walla City Council did send a letter to the RLD Board, hand-delivered by Jim Johnson, County Commissioner, asking that the RLD Board remain open to discussions for consolidated library service. Consolidation through annexation is still regarded by most as the best alternative.
Last but by no means least of the issues is the proposal by the RLD to construct a
Speak up.
county central library in the College Place area. College Place does not and never has paid taxes to the Rural Library District for library service. A library located in this area would be less accessible to the majority of the residents in the aforementioned perimeter of the city of Walla Walla than the existing Walla Walla Public Library. For those in the county who have paid taxes to the Rural Library District over the last 40 years, this is a gross disservice. While the Walla Walla County Rural Library District has provided and is improving service to the outlying areas of the county, it is evident that they have underserved and will continue to underserve those residents on the perimeter of Walla Walla comprised of Fire Districts 4 and 8 with their proposed facilities development plan.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Anybody else wish to speak?
I'm Jean Dolling, and I got
Address. Address. Jean.
What?
Give your address.
208 Detour Road. Is it your goal to see to it that all materials, library materials, are available to all county residents? Is that your goal?
This is a comment period.
I would point out.
We don't answer.
You don't
questions,
answer.
Not in the comment period.
Well, I would seem to think that it is because I put in requests to the Plaza branch, and they didn't have what I wanted. So they said that they would see if they could find it. They've looked in the other branches and on Walnut and still couldn't come up with it. Although I suspect if I had gone to the city library, I probably could have accessed what I was asking for, although I didn't go check because I really don't have access to the city library anymore. County libraries are not anything new. There are county libraries that do exist in the United States. And is it really too much for me to think that we could possibly have one county-wide library district that would be contributed to by every county resident and accessible by every county resident so that we wouldn't have to keep having this fight that we've been having? The only reason why we don't have a county-wide library district now is because when the rural library district was set up, it was set up as a rural county library district, not as a county-wide library district. It's also come to my attention that one option would be to solicit signatures on a petition from county residents, College Place residents, Walla City residents, to have a plan in place to establish a single county-wide library district. And the petition would be asking people, and it would take 10% of the population from the cities, 10% of the population from the county to put it on the general ballot in the fall, and ask people if they would like to disband the rural county library district and have a plan in place to turn right around and immediately put everything into a county-wide library district. And that would include every resident in the county. People in College Place who've never had really access to a library in the past, and all the city residents who have contributed to the city library. And it's always been a battle for the city council to try and figure out how much money they're going to take out of the general fund that every city resident pays into, but take that money out to support the library. So historically, you can do the math and discover how much each property resident has contributed from the city, and simply redirect that money out of the general fund and into the county-wide library district.
Okay, thank you. I need to call time on that.
Can I ask that, because I don't know my addresses, being from Burbank, that you let me know if that's city or county taxpayer when you give your address? Can we start from the beginning so I know where we were at with it?
You want me to, I am.
I didn't know from your address if you are county.
I
or-
am county.
Okay,
I actually am city.
and the one who left, does anybody know?
She's county.
And,
I'm county.
okay, and you
And
are,
the one
am
who
county.
left.
okay, so just one was.
I'm county.
Okay, I'm sorry, okay. Next. I think the man in the back stood up.
Go ahead. I just have a comment, listening to the reading of Ms. Hull's letter.
Your name and address, please?
My name is Janice King, and I'm on 1328 Poncella. I am a city resident. That $5 million, if the reporting is correct, and there seems to be a lot of going back and forth in letters and what's been reported in the UB, if it is correct that the loan application is being applied for in Oregon, I'm concerned about $5 million going out of county and state of Washington taxpayer dollars. Thank you.
I am Alan Apples, 408 Walla Avenue, county resident of long stature, we hope. I see that there are a considerable number of libraries existing in Walla Walla, I think as you well are aware of, and I wouldn't need to probably list and repeat all of them. Obviously, an additional library in the so-called College Place vicinity is not necessary. And it appears like the usage of the Plaza Library is not being used, which is an indication that there isn't need for a library. And it seems to me that you're looking at borrowing the money from institutions in Oregon. I thought what I read that they are a credit union for which you have to become a member of, and I'm finding that a little bit intriguing, interesting. And if the rural library insists they need a distribution center, I think that Tushy would be an excellent choice. You have plans to build a building there anyway. It seems to me that to incorporate the distribution center in there makes a lot of sense, cuts down on the travel. And I just kind of wonder why some of these alternatives have not been explored or looked into or discussed at the meetings and given the public any opportunity for input rather than everything being totally cut and dried. And I was a little bit amazed at the last meeting in Tushy. Seemed to be like it was pre-arranged with a lot of insiderness and stacked the deck in terms of the comments of going forth to the USDA Rural Development for the loan.
This is not.
I'm Lee Newton. I live in the county at 3055 Russell Creek Road, and I have rented for this 30 years so that the taxpayer can pay his taxes. So I'm doing it. I am very much in support of the district and their plans. I have no qualms with the simple fact of another place where individuals, children, and adults can check out books. How can that be a negative? The access to reading, possibilities, technology, and all sorts of things are right there. Why not enjoy it and have it available to any number of people that are county residents, as well as others. But I'm in support of it.
Yeah, so everybody can hear you.
Most people usually can. I'm Susan Newton, and I live at 270 Summer Circle, and I'm a county resident who also has property in the city. And so some kind person gave me a piece of paper because he saw me writing on my hand. So I just wanted to comment mostly on what I've heard other people say. So one person, the gentleman, just talked about how there were no people in the Plaza Library when I was there on Saturday picking up some books. Actually, at both libraries, there were a half dozen people at the Plaza Library. Also, that the comment about the meeting in Tushy was stacked, and I'm intrigued at that given what is going on here tonight, that this meeting is clearly, people have been called to come and support the city versus the county. But the bigger concern is, as the person who facilitated the discussions between the two libraries, to hear somebody say that you, the rural library district, turned down the annexation request is not true. Those meetings were discussed, it's documented in the meetings, and it was the city, Beth, the executive director of the city library, and the team that people supporting her said that they were not in the financial position to support annexation. So it was not the rural library that turned it down. Thank you.
Anybody else wish to speak?
I do.
Okay.
I am Carlotta Richardson. I am the Touchy Library Manager. And I would just like to comment on the gentleman's comment about Plaza Library not being utilized. I was there just for this last Friday, and there was a head count of 85 people through that building. Think about it. 8-hour day, 85 people. That small building.
I'll comment to that is Maria Fondon, 830 Walla Drive, county resident. Right now, perhaps the number has gone up because many people cannot go to this, that our county who have accessed the city library are unable to use the library at the city. An example is a young teacher that I work with, Alex, who lives out in the county, bundled up her 2 children after daycare, excited to go down to the library, and they got there with books and could not check them out. And it saddened me to, again, I'm back to the children issue, no matter where the location is. I'm still very concerned about servicing families with small children. And so therefore, yes, her children totally disappointed, one in tears, so she had to put them in the car and then drive them over to the county just so they were able to get books. That's just a comment.
Books. And it was
Big-
the rural library that provided them.
However, they wanted to go to the city library because of the access. I know. Okay.
Thank you.
That's comment.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, we'll call that portion closed. Approval of minutes.
I move that we approve the board meeting minutes from January 14th, 2013.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that we approve the minutes of board meeting on January 14th, 2013. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same. Financial reports.
The first one is the expenditure status report for February. And it is the multi-page one that has grade. This is our new display sheet, which expands the expenditures that we have into more refined areas, so that you can clearly see from this distribution how much we spend in different maintenance and where those maintenance dollars go, and how much we spend in electrical and internet and all those things, and where those dollars go, rather than just having them lumped into the kind of report that we used to be getting. So if you want to take a moment to look through the February list, you'll see our budget is in the gray. The January that you saw last month is under January column. The February is, of course, under February. And then I have a total to date. And each month I will move that line over so that you can watch the totals as compared with the actual budget. And so if you have any questions there, these February figures represent what you've also seen in the vouchers, which have been vetted by, let's see, was it Alice? Did you do it? So, and we also have the vouchers right there. If you have any questions about any of the expenditures, there are a few that are fairly odd. One is down under the Plaza Electric, and I asked Jean about that, and what happened was they had one of our meters attached to a different business since 2010. So what they had to do was go back and figure out what we actually owed on that for that period of time, and that represented about $400, and then our current regular bill is also attached to the voucher for the Plaza Electric. So that's an anomaly that you will not see that number repeated again. If you see anything else there, take a moment, please.
Lisa,
Mm-hmm.
I don't wanna criticize it because I absolutely love the new method.
Yes.
But I depend on those percentages. So can we add that column back in at the end?
Oh, sure.
Because I look at what percent of the year we're through and then I see where
Absolutely.
we're at.
Yeah, this is a work in progress. It's better this month than it was last
Yeah,
month.
no, it's great. It's very nice. I like
Okay.
the detail, but I like to just scan
Yeah.
through and look at my percentage.
Yeah, that'll be fine. And I wish I could get it to you sooner, but I want you all to understand that Jean is working on the vouchers pretty much right up until the hour, primarily because the window that we have for having our meetings and doing the vouchers is very small. And the earlier in the month that our meetings are, the closer to the meeting time she's receiving these vouchers. And she was doing some right up until, within 2 hours, basically, of the meeting. So I can't really get these to you in advance and have them reflect what we're gonna
Yeah.
be bringing to the board.
But the percentages make it easy to go
You-
through fast.
yeah, it really does,
So
yeah.
then I don't have to know my exact numbers and budget.
Exactly, and it's kind of tiny too, and for that, I apologize to everybody. I'm thinking that in the future, I might bring the computer and put it up on the board so we can actually look through those numbers together. If you think that's a nice idea.
Well, if you had it just displayed in a larger print, on the
How
wall,
can I-
no,
Oh,
on the projection thing. We don't
Yeah.
necessarily have to go through it bit by bit by bit, but
right,
it would give us an opportunity to
Okay.
scan it in a bigger
Okay.
format.
so if you have any other questions about any of these things, Alice, if you saw anything you wanted to bring to somebody's attention.
Nope, on the
They look
vouchers,
good.
okay.
What was the roofing? What would we have roofed? Only $200, probably the machine.
Yeah, it was the eaves, wasn't it, that was leaking?
No, piece of the Burbank roof.
Yeah, bring that down here.
Yeah, it was Burbank.
It's always Burbank.
It's
always Burbank.
We'll blame it on Burbank.
That'll be us.
Yeah, but this way we'll be able to track what happens at each of our branches, particularly going forward as we start, improving the buildings. Thank you.
Okay,
And then, that's the expenditure status report. And then review and signing of the vouchers for February. And the vouchers are in front of Alice and Carol there. And the motion language is on the front page. And then if you pass it, you will want to sign the vouchers for the county so we can pay the bills.
Andrea.
And
Yep,
Tom, you're kind of new here, so what that is basically.
It doesn't matter to, no, you
Yeah, that's what we did the last time, so.
Yeah,
that's right here.
that's right, you do have a
She
copy
said-
of that
Yeah,
in
you
your
have to read it
packet.
because you went through.
Okay,
No.
she's gonna
Which one are we gonna sign?
You're gonna sign the one that
Where-
Alice has.
Let's,
There's
There's a motion.
there are two there
Okay, I
with
move that
little tags.
we accept the February vouchers, February 2013, numbered 64 to 144, in the amount of $112,384.82.
And then make up the motion for the second one, because I just had to add that.
Then I move that we accept the voucher for...
Capital Projects Fund.
let's
Vote on
let's
one.
do,
Oh.
right, let's do
Do we
the
have to
first one,
second
please.
this
I need a second for
Okay.
that.
Second.
Okay.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve paying vouchers number 64 to 144 in the amount of $112,384.82. All those in favor say aye.
And
Opposed?
there's the total on that one.
Okay.
And the
And
voucher
then
numbers are here.
Separate voucher numbers on this one?
Yes, because that's for our capital project fund.
Okay, so I move that we pay voucher numbers 6034, 13019-W38, and 3730, in the amount of $13,825.23 for capital expenditures.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we pay vouchers number 6034, 13019-W38, 3730 in the amount of $13,825.23. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? It's been passed.
Thank you. Okay. I think we'll wait until it's signed there, so you can all follow the next item.
Is there just one signature page?
No, here's
That's
no-
Here
right.
comes the- no.
There's a signature page for that one and a
Right,
signature
And the
page for
capital.
Here
this.
comes another one.
Mhm. That's good, thank you, put it all back in there. I don't lose it. The next item on the agenda is your pink slip, which is, well, actually, the staff reports were written and sent to you.
Yes.
And do you have any questions or comments on them?
Do you wish to comment on this at all?
Oh, if you want to, yeah,
Just-
I'm sorry.
No, no, no,
That-
no
that's-
problem.
That's true, I missed that entirely. The treasurer's financial statement for January, you can see that, that the amount of money in our funds, the 3.6, $3,619,503.42 was what we had in the cash at the month ending January. And we received a very small amount of money for that first month. And then we had expenditures in January, and our balance right now is $3,526,808.60. And that's the financial statement up through the end of January that we received from the treasurer.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
The staff reports were sent via email.
And there was a lot of good things happening in those.
Yeah, there were. It was fun to read all of
Yeah,
that.
Very nice.
they do a very fine job on those.
Yeah.
Very pleased. And then the report on the reimbursement program, which was authorized in December and began January the 1st. And we have been, we set up the impressed account so that we could write checks on the spot for people when they come in. And they've either been turning them in at Plaza or coming into the office, and we've either been mailing the checks out that very day or handing them to the people as they arrive. And since the beginning of January, does this, Josh, include February or only January?
No, that one's just February. I have the number.
January.
I'm sorry, just January. I have the number for February. So.
Okay, so you're looking at the January number, 167 cards, 5 of them were 6-month cards at $34 each, and 162 are 1-year cards, for a total expenditure of $11,186 to date. Our vouchers include replacing that amount of money in our impressed account, so that we always have it about $25,000 to accommodate those people who purchase a card from the Walla Walla Public Library and come to us for reimbursement, which anybody can do in the county. So Josh, would you like to report?
As of 4 o'clock this afternoon, we had 26 for February. And that's around $1,600 or so.
Okay.
I don't know off the top of my head. I think there's only 2 6-month cards so far. But otherwise, there's 26 on top of that.
Okay. We have 2 signatories in the office so that we make sure we get them written every day. There's always somebody here to do it.
That's great. Okay. LEO membership?
Leo membership, about in, what was it, September, October of 2011, I took some staff members over to the Libraries of Eastern Oregon annual meeting in Temascalis. And we learned all about the programs that they have and the fact that persons who are members of this group have, are able to purchase some of the databases that we have begun to purchase at discounted amounts because they have negotiated special contracts. They also have partnerships with the Smithsonian American Art Museum in Washington, D.C., and Oregon Museum of Science and Industry, and the Cascadia Meteorological Institute, and some other arts and science organizations. They have several programs that they develop programming with, and then the membership sends these programs around to the various members. And since I was in on the beginning of this and took the staff, and the staff was very impressed, we decided that we would join this organization. And I asked them if they would accept into the libraries of Eastern Oregon a rural library district adjacent to their membership, which of course is Umatilla County, and they said yes. So you have the letter of welcome.
It was really cool. I drove over with Punky in 2011, and they were plugging a planetary program where you have a light-up, touchable globe that would go to every library in their consortium that wanted it. And they're interested in Columbia County too.
Yes, they are.
So
Yeah.
they just might keep growing. I don't know. But it was really cool. I mean, they had. It was a group you sat with, and you feel like, okay, these are people that are doing something. They were plugging the programming, not just, hey, this is coming. It's set up in the back room. Here's all the curriculum. It can come to your library, and we'll send someone to your library to present it. Plus all their databases. And I think the outgoing Oregon State Librarian was there.
That's right. At
Yeah.
that time, yeah, it was a kind of a celebration for him as well. And the relationship with the Smithsonian American Art Museum was where they actually designed special programs. We had students come from schools to a special Polycom or Skype or whatever the current technology is, where this person would show different artworks in Washington, D.C., talk to the students, and it was interactive, and the students could ask questions. It's truly amazing. So the partnerships have been just astonishing, and it now covers, it says Libraries of Eastern Oregon, but it actually covers about 3/4 of the state of Oregon.
Wow.
And it started out just in like Hermiston. So we're very excited about that.
And you say they have a special rate on the databases?
Oh yeah, every database, like Josh is very knowledgeable about what our state library, Washington State Library, does, negotiating special subscriptions as a large unit for, say, Overdrive for our
ProQuest,
downloadable, yeah, and ProQuest and so on. And states tend to do this, but they do very limited number of these. And Leo has gotten together and done other ones like World Book and Tutor.com and Learning.
They have some of the same ones we do,
Mm-hmm.
but what we're buying individually,
Right.
we can get through them at a group discount. They're basically a consortium, like we're in the Walnut Consortium. It's basically resource sharing. We have a shared database, and we share books, and we cooperate on things where we can. This is sort of the opposite. They don't have a shared database. They share programming, they share databases, they share costs.
Mm-hmm.
There's all different systems involved. They're not all in a union catalog.
Right.
But they do a lot.
They do a lot, yeah.
It was one of the, I'll say this very frankly, it was one of the few library trainings I've been to that I felt wasn't really a waste of my time. To drive an hour and back was not a waste of my time.
Yeah, that's great to hear. So we're very proud of that. Staffing changes. We've had a number of staffing changes. There's a letter of resignation in here from Amy at Prescott for the very sad reason for us and the very happy reason for her that she's been hired on 30 hours a week within 2 blocks of her home in Dayton to run that library. So it's a great step up for her, and she deeply regrets leaving us because she's, really loved us. So we have an ad out in the Union Bulletin on our website and in the Waitsburg Times looking for someone for the Prescott library. Susan Seagraves is still there in her same role, but we need someone else, of course. And then Cindy Gaither out in Burbank is leaving to pursue other opportunities. She has been our part-time youth services librarian. She was in the same MLS program that Amy was in. And so we have an ad out for, in the Tri-City Herald, on our website, on the Pacific Northwest Library Association job website, because it reaches more people, and it's a job that requires a bit more expertise. And they're to send their resumes to Chris Hoffman Hill, who will be reviewing them and doing the interviewing, probably and possibly with the management team. And let's see, we had a staff member down at Plaza who had a great deal of trouble meeting the requirements for being on time. And since it's a two-person outfit, it's very, 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 very difficult to operate it when someone is late or doesn't call in a timely manner or doesn't call in at all. And we've had several incidents. I wrote this person up for 10 failures. There were two Saturdays when 5 staff members got involved before we solved the problem of getting the thing open. So this person received warning, and that they would be terminated. At the next incident, there were 2 more incidents, and the person was terminated. So we have hired a woman who used to work at Burbank, also worked for 6 years at Whitman College in circulation and cataloging, and also worked for 12 years for the Spokane Rural Library District. She has many skills, and she started today at Plaza. Her name is Callie Schneider.
Great.
Okay? So we're very happy about that. And then I have added their executive director search process, which last month we determined I would enter into. I have changed my mind at this time with your blessing. I will not enter into that process until we resolve these political and legal issues, unless you tell me to.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the Luck Group activity, the Freedom of Information Act requests, political and legal conflicts, which we are going to address in full tonight. The turnout tonight, let's see, oh yeah, we haven't done correspondence. The turnout tonight is indicative of the effort that the Luck Group has made to have people come to our meetings and repeat the same things that they have been saying all along, which they don't deny, they've been saying all along. However, many of the statements are misleading or just plain false. I would like to start out briefly addressing the public comments that were given. The reason Plaza is so busy is that people are discovering Plaza when they go down to turn in their reimbursement cards for the city library, and they like what they find, so they're coming back. So we have a great deal of increase in activity. We were told that people should use the Walla Walla Public Library or do consolidation. We made a profound effort over 6 months to work on consolidation, and as Mrs. Newman stated, it did not work because the city would not participate in that. We had done a great deal. I've repeated that on many occasions, and it doesn't seem to get into the public conscience. Using Walla Walla Public Library as an alternative, number 1, it's too small. There is documentation on our website showing how it is too small for the entire 50,000 population. There is nothing wrong at all with having a couple branches in the same vicinity, which gives people more access, not less access. The Walla Walla Public Library has continued to ask for too much, in the opinion of the auditor as well as the board, for the contract. So that has not been a viable, effective, fiscally responsible alternative to pay for that access. For last year, it was about 1,100 persons out of 10,200. That's a very small percentage for reasons that I wouldn't even, try to guess, but it's $250,000 for 1,100 people is an unconscionable expenditure of rural library district money. So there can't be consolidation at this time. Annexation has never been asked, and it's been actually rejected in those meetings. The Walla Walla Public Library is too small physically to accommodate the additional people for whom the rural library district is responsible. In fact, since 2004, they have been trying to develop a master plan to expand their library because they believe it's too small even for their own population. So all these facts need to be taken into consideration when these recommendations are made to us, the Rural Library District, to do one of these two things. It was suggested that we improve and expand by setting up a central distribution center, which is the language used, in Tushy. Improve and expand our branch libraries. It's impossible to improve and expand the branch libraries and to serve the populations for which we're responsible, including 10,200 persons in the suburban area, by forcing them to go to Tushy or building a giant library in Tushy or doing anything else of that nature. You put libraries where the people are, and the people that pay the taxes for the rural library district to serve them are distributed 2/3 to 1/3, as you pointed out, in the suburban to rural areas. It was said that this is an urban area and that full service is already available. Only a portion of it is urban. There is Frog Hollow Road, State Line Road, all the way out to heaven knows where. Just look at a map and see what people there are who have to come in and use the services that the Rural Library District provides. Where the library is sited, whether it's College Place or outside of College Place or in the western county area, is pretty irrelevant as long as the Rural Library District sites the library in a place that has easy access for its residents. If indeed it's in College Place, I would ask how many city residents in fact drive to Walmart. Fine.
Go check the parking lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
I really want to honor your remarks about the countywide consolidated library. We've spoken on many occasions. What you suggest is a desirable, some kind of a goal, but right now the statutes and do not permit what you are suggesting.
They would have to be altered.
They would have to be altered, and right now we're dealing with now. And that vision is a vision which can persist for a long time and is not anything that someone would walk away from. I want to honor that.
And it would probably rehire the same people. And it would probably be
Right,
structured
it just is not
about
now.
the same.
Yes, these things don't happen overnight at all. Neither do annexations or anything else of that nature.
No.
Okay, then the latest thing is there is a current legal conflict, which is an outgrowth, of course, of the political conflict. And I don't need to describe the political conflict because you all are here because you're aware of it. The legal conflict has to do with the efforts by the Library User Coalition to actively interfere with the Rural Library District's right and ability to secure funding and to make loans in order to pursue its goals. It does not have to have public meetings in order to get the permission of certain people or have votes or anything else in order to carry out its sacred duty of using Rural Library District taxpayer money in the most effective, efficient, fiscally responsible manner possible. The Library User Coalition has done a number of things over time, which have been very let's see, the word is they have kept us busy dealing with the fallout from these things. They interfered with our community bank loan, and we didn't know it for a very long period of time. They also sent letters to the U.S. Department of Agriculture to interfere with our USDA loan. They also have recently begun to threaten the Old West Federal Credit Union with legal action. They have been persistent in attacking all of the things we're trying to do with many false statements, and that time is over. There is nothing. They had a Freedom of Information request sent to us, one sent to the City of College Place, one sent to the USDA, and all of these government agencies have honored that. It is their right to do so. They have come in and taken documentation, which is fine. Everybody's given them everything they have, and that we have gathered all these data. We've given them everything, and probably they won't have to do any more of those because basically we're giving them just about everything there is. But of course, they have every right to continue to do that. There is. I would have to say that the political conflict has been fanned by the Union Bulletin and its articles, which have misstated facts, most particularly in relation to our audit. I was called by Alfred Diaz on Friday before the Sunday the article came out to get my comment on that. I explained to him the difference in language between a finding and a recommendation, and I said it's very important because that's a word of art. A finding requires a report to the Attorney General and a response by the Rural Library District. There was no such thing. Well, it was badly reported, and I do not appreciate the fact that Alfred did that. The headline was also very offensive, and this just continues to keep getting fanned by whoever is submitting information to the Union Bulletin. And I happen to know for a fact that in the most recent instance, Mr. Kopp has sent, or Mr. Dan Clark has sent to the Union Bulletin a copy of a challenge and a complaint to the National Credit Union Association. Administration? National Credit Union Administration to state that the Old West Federal Credit Union is illegally engaging into a loan with us. So I have here look, that's Alfred Diaz's article. All these things are going to go up on our website. The editorial, of course, comments Mr. Norm Winters is the banker who has been dealing with us on this loan from USDA, Business and Industries loan. A letter from Alfred Diaz, this was sent to me by Mr. Winters, from Alfred Diaz on Tuesday, February 5th, that's a week ago, tomorrow, to Norm Winters, subject, complaint for violation of Section 1075 of the FCU, that's Federal Credit Union Act, by Old West Federal Credit Union. Mr. Winters, I am a reporter with the Walla Union Bulletin who has been following and reporting on the Walla County Rural Library District's plans to build a new county central library branch. They are currently in the process of trying to approve a loan through Old West Federal Credit Union. The latest issue regarding RLD's plans involve your credit union and whether Your organization has the authority to provide backing for the loan. Please see enclosed material as it pertains to the objections by the Walla Walla Library Users Coalition claims that if your credit union provides a loan to the RLD, they claim your credit union will be in violation of the Federal Credit Union Act. I am hoping to obtain a response from your organization by the end of this week. You can call me today and Wednesday until 11 a.m. I will be in again Friday and Saturday all day, or you can correspond by email if you prefer. Thank you, and I look forward to hearing from you, Alfred Diaz, reporter. And attached to that letter to Mr. Winters from Alfred Diaz is a forwarded message from Daniel Clark, complaint for violation of Section 107.5 of the Federal Credit Union Act by Old West Federal Credit Union. It is sent to the Commissioner, the Consumer Assistance at ncua.gov. Carbon copies to OCP mail, ncua.gov. OGE mail at ncua.gov. J. Brolin at ncua.gov. Alan Kopp at charter.net. Jackie George at charter.net. Leanne Hughes at Patino1 at pocketnetinternet.com. Karen Anderson, dkanderson333 at gmail.com. Jeff Blum, jsblum at hotmail.com. Mary Patton, mpatton5 at q.com. Betty Hull, hullb at charter.net. Amanda Borg, borg.amanda at gmail.com. Alfred Diaz at wwb.com. Alastair Stewart at wwb.com. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm an attorney in Walla Walla, Washington, and the legal advisor to the Walla Walla Library Users Coalition, which is aggrieved by a proposed loan by Old West Federal Credit Union located in and serving several counties in the state of Oregon to the Walla Walla County, Washington Rural Library District for new duplicate construction in the Walla Walla urban area opposed by all sectors of the local community and which would appear to violate Section 107.5 of the FCU Act. After applying to a Walla Walla commercial bank, which declined the district a loan due to a lack of community support, the district informed the USDA, from which they are seeking a loan guarantee, that their intent is to find an out-of-state bank that will not be influenced by the general public opposition to their building project locally. The district then applied to Old West Federal Credit Union, of which its interim director is a member through a branch in her hometown of Baker, Oregon. Please see the attached letter the Library User Coalition has sent to Old West, the last 3 paragraphs of which address the issue of the apparent violation of Section 107.5 of the Act. Please also see the attached copy of the proposed loan by Old West to the RLD dated January 10th, 2013, which has been accepted by the RLD, and a copy of the service agreement for environmental assessment entered into by Old West for the proposed construction site of the RLD's new urban area library. I have discussed this grievance with a regulatory attorney in the NCUA's Office of General Counsel, who, after consulting other senior attorneys in his office and reviewing Old West's organizational documents, has informed me that the proposed loan appears to be a violation of Section 107.5 of the Act, providing that loans can only be made to credit union members located in a credit union's authorized service area, as detailed in the NCUA General Counsel opinion cited in our attached letter. Despite our protest to Old West Federal Credit Union, it appears that Old West is proceeding with the proposed loan. We therefore request enforcement action against Old West for its violation of the Federal Credit Union Act. Please acknowledge this complaint and keep us informed of all your actions you take as a result of it. Best wishes, Daniel N. Clark, attorney. He gives his address, and he attached a very long letter to the Old West Credit Union, which talks about all the evil things we've done, and also a copy of our loan proposal that we signed in January. Now, I want to read a letter to the editor that appeared in the Walla Walla Union Bulletin on Sunday, September 2nd, 2012. It is written by Jack Lenahan of Walla Walla. August 21st, I attended my first Library User Coalition meeting. Coalition leaders were introduced to the audience. A list of accomplishments handed out and 7 minutes were spent on the evening's topic, benefits of annexation. The rest of the evening promoted a consolidation plan that would provide one central downtown library with improved outer branches from the Be Active, Be Proactive handout. Because of the property tax limitation, this is quoted, moderator Karen Anderson said, the city can no longer support the city library. Close quote. Despite marketing efforts by the Walla Walla Public Library, the City Council remains unmoved in its priorities. The luck-related meetings with the City Council members are encouraged by the Council's support. They are appreciative of the help given in redefining their strategy and objectives. The luck has been exploring and promoting annexation. Now it is committed to a recall of the Rural Library District Board, blocking of RLD building plans, and the creation of a new RLD board based on representation by jurisdiction populations. County tax revenues must be redirected to save the Walla Walla Public Library. The audience was invited to participate in this campaign. We could sign and distribute a resolution titled Declaration of Support. We could contact a member who would write letters to the Union Bulletin on his behalf. We could join coalition leaders in disrupting the RLD Board executive session planned for the next day. Because time is of the essence, the LUC has already requested of county commissioners replacement of RLD board members. If the LUC is successful in discrediting the existing board, blocking building plans and appointment of a new board with a majority from the city, the new RLD board will inherit the district's $3 million building fund. Dan Clark, legal counsel for the LUC, related the fund could then be used to buy, remodel, and staff the Walla Walla Public Library as needed for its new role as a county library administration and collection center. It was a very instructive meeting regarding the overriding motivation. Less clear is the LUC's current interest in an annexation model that would bring together the fragmented nature of current library services in the county under experienced and stable leadership. Surely, there are enough library users in Walla Walla to impact city budget decisions for the common good and save the Walla Walla Public Library. As I said, it's signed Jack Lenahan, Walla Walla. That's September. And that may be all I'm going to read into the record. Everything else of this nature will be posted on our website. You're welcome to read it.
Is that the end of correspondence?
No, that's not the correspondence. That was just my discussion.
You were still.
Oh, I haven't read the,
We haven't even got to.
I haven't read the correspondence yet. That was just an analysis
Okay.
of the political and legal conflict, which is a characterizing or putting into context our action tonight. So I could now move on to correspondence if you like.
Thank you.
Okay.
I think it also maybe helps some people here understand fully the extent of the bullying tactics that have been used against us. I think people have been under the impression that everybody wants a unified library, but they have not known to the extent, and in my mind, the conflict of interest that has occurred with some of the people who have gone after us in what we've tried to do. And that's just my
Madam
speaking.
Chair, since my name has been,
Oh.
and writings have been invoked here,
It's up to you whether you want to listen to it
may
or not.
I
I don't think
give a
so.
brief response?
I don't think so. Dan, I think we've heard
That's
enough
consistent with
from
your-
you. I know, but
Yeah.
if you want to get on the agenda for next time, maybe we can work that out.
You
But,
know,
I mean, we
so
really
much
heard-
hatred being generated now. I see this staff member, I see your staff members writing letters to the editor. I see this staff member.
Point of order.
staring at me,
Point of order.
even a
Dan,
board member. So
Point of order.
I think it would be good if you would hear the public.
We have
Thank you.
heard the public. I don't think the public has heard what all of you have been doing. The extent of what you have undertaken to undermine us.
And the motive.
And the UB has,
The motive is to unite.
Why don't you have a public meeting of your taxpayers in the
Dan?
urban area?
Moving on.
And just as you have in Burbank,
Dan,
Prescott, and ask them what they want.
point of order last time.
I'm a taxpayer, I support them.
Yeah.
That's fine,
I am the
We've
taxpayer.
had two.
but we're out of the
Moving on.
community comment period.
correspondence.
Okay,
This is a letter from William Calkins sent to me at 8:10 last night. It was sent to the board as well, that's why it's correspondence. Dear Aletha Bone Break, and each board member got a copy of this. We received a telephone call Sunday afternoon from a woman purporting to be a member of the Library Coalition, asking us to attend Monday's County Rural Public Library Board of Trustees meeting. We want you to know that we are unable to attend due to medical reasons. However, we want to support the Rural Library District and its Board of Trustees. We read the UB article and understand the coalition and the city will stop at nothing to denigrate the Board of Trustees in its effort to build a new library for the county. We support the letter to the editor in Sunday's UB submitted by Amy Rosenberg from Prescott. We could not have said it better than she did in her letter. The coalition is leading, perhaps naively, the city in an attempt to grab the money that the county property taxes have provided, and the Rural Library Board of Trustees has managed favorably for us and diverted to the city library. We want you to continue forward to build a new library for the county of which we can all be proud. The coalition does not represent our interests as county residents and taxpayers regarding library services. We agree with the Rural County Library Board of Trustees that in the long-range strategy we need to consolidate library services. However, this can come about after we have a solid county library as envisioned by the Board of Trustees. We wish you the best and regret that we cannot attend Monday's meeting to support you in this important matter. Sincerely, William and Maureen Calkins, 1929 School Avenue, Walla Walla, Washington. And I wish to point out, if you missed it at the beginning, that these people were telephoned by the Luck Group to come to this meeting. So they appear to be on your list of your supporters. The next correspondence is from A.B. Rosenberg. Dear Aletha, this letter to us officially signify that as of today I'm giving notice that I will be resigning as branch supervisor of the Prescott Library. My last day of work will be Thursday, February 28th, 2013. In the month of March, I can be available to help train a replacement on Fridays, if needed. Thank you so much for the opportunity to work for the WWCRL. My time there has been a joy and an invaluable learning experience. At best, Amy Rosenberg. And then I have here correspondence from our Old West banker, Norm Winters. Copied to Kenneth Olson, who is the, that, and sent to us, and he says, please give me a call. And he forwarded a email from his administrative assistant, Dana Brooks, and she sent it to Norm Winters and the CEO of Old West, Kenneth Olson, and the subject is Dan Clark, Walla Walla. Norm and Ken, Dan Clark called, this is the executive secretary. Dan Clark called again today to warn us, that's in quotation marks, that if we move ahead with the loan on the new library, they intend to file suit against us. He stated that he has talked with the NFCUA organization and received an opinion from them that if we move forward, we will be outside our charter since the loan will be in Washington State. He stated the opinion stated that there is nothing in our charge that would allow us to move forward with this loan. Dan would like to talk to Ken regarding this loan, and he may be reached, and he gives the phone number. That's at 10:54 in the morning. 1:30 in the afternoon on the same day. From Dana Brooks to Ken Olson and Norm Winters. Subject, Dan Clark. I just took another call from Dan Clark. He was disappointed he had not heard back from Ken yesterday. He wanted us to know today. He wanted us to know that there was a front page article in the Walla Walla Union Bulletin regarding the Library Foundation Board and how it has come to light that they didn't follow public meeting law in holding their meetings. I stated I had talked with Ken this morning, and we felt it would be better for him to talk with our attorney at this point in time. He then started to press me and said, based on that comment, this is in quotes, I am assuming Old West is moving forward with this loan, close quote. I informed him I would not talk about the loan with him and stated again that he would need to talk with our attorney. He stated he looks forward to talking with our attorney and to have them contact him. He then stated that he didn't need to call us at all, but was doing so out of professional courtesy. I again stated I have been instructed not to discuss this issue with him and would get this information to our attorney, and ended the call. That is the correspondence that we received officially.
Thank you.
Okay, that's the end of the correspondence.
Okay,
Okay,
unfinished business?
none.
New business?
I am requesting that the board approve the amended USDA Business and Industries proposal for us to go ahead with the Old West loan, with the addition of the administrative section, which states, wherever it is, it's identical to the one we passed in January, with the addition of the statement, administrative costs, all administrative costs associated with this funding, processing, executing, and defending loan in court with all associated attorney fees will be paid for by the Walla Walla County Rural Library District. We have an opinion from our attorney, Payne Hamblin, stating that we not only have, I'm going to read it. Our firm is special legal counsel to Walla Walla County Rural Library District. This is written to Mr. Norm Winters. We have been asked to provide an opinion as to the district's authority to incur indebtedness for the purpose of acquiring property and erecting a new library to serve the needs of library patrons in the district. From our review of the applicable provisions of Washington state law, it is our opinion that the district has the requisite authority to enter into a contract for this purpose. The Walla Walla County Rural Library District is a municipal corporation of the state of Washington, established under the authority of Chapter 2712 of the Revised Code of Washington. The Board of Trustees of the district has the exclusive power over the finances of the district by law, and the specific authority to contract for indebtedness. The statutes are cited. The Board of Trustees has the further specific statutory authority to acquire property for the purpose of erecting a library building. A further issue that we've been asked to consider is whether legal fees incurred by Old West Federal Credit Union in processing and executing this loan transaction, including the cost of litigation, could be included in the administrative costs to be paid by the district for this loan. It is our opinion that the Board of Trustees, acting under the authority of the above-cited provisions of law and in the form and manner required by law, has the power to execute a valid contract to acquire the necessary property and erect a new library building, and that the administrative costs for processing, executing, and defending this loan transaction would be a valid expenditure by the district. Very truly yours, Philip S. Brooke III, Payne Hamlin, LLP, out of Spokane.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I would like to make a motion. I move to approve the amended proposal from Old West Federal Credit Union, which adds to the original proposal a statement under administrative costs that the Rural Library District will compensate Old West FCU for legal fees incurred defending their right to contract with the Rural Library District under NCUA's charter, and to authorize Aletha Bonebrake to sign the amended contract.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to amend the proposal from Old West Federal Credit Union, which adds to the original proposal a statement under administrative costs that the Rural Library District will compensate Old West FCU for legal fees incurred defending their right to contract with the Rural Library District under NCUA's charter, and to authorize Aletha Bonebrake to sign the amended contract. Been moved and seconded to that effect. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes.
All these documents will be on our website.
Okay, any other new business? Next meeting is March 11th. Meeting's adjourned.